Good evening, Ravens flock. What's up, fam? It has been a minute. I think like a week almost. I haven't heard from you guys. I haven't seen you. I haven't been on camera. I missed you. I'm just now getting back. I went to Creator Camp, eCam's Creator Camp this past week. Learned a lot, and I'm excited to come back now, recharged, rejuvenated, energized to bring you all more great content about our Baltimore Ravens. And I thought to myself, well, let's go live. I'm testing out vertical live streams, and I wanted to see kind of, how it works and let me know if it looks okay. Trying something new here, but at any rate, wanted to just get started, get going, and listen. I see if you're here and you already know it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great show. We're just gonna have a good time. It's Saturday night, right? We're just hanging out, talking about our Ravens taking on these Tampa Bay Bucs. Look, I've been out of town. I haven't had a lot of time to do research like I normally like to do in terms of knowing who we're playing, knowing our opponent, what are we up against, what are we facing. Hey, but that's all right. So I'm going to lean heavily on you because I know that you all are so well versed in all of the teams, especially our opponents. So let's talk about it. Baltimore Ravens, one thing that we have, the advantage over the Bucs. We have Lamar Jackson. Yes, that's right. We have Lamar Jackson, who is 22-1 against NFC teams. Lamar Jackson just doesn't lose against the NFC teams. He had the one loss a couple of years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago against the Giants, but we're gonna face them again this year. We're gonna get right that ship. But other than that, since being a starter, Lamar Jackson just doesn't lose when it comes to playing the NFC teams. And we're not gonna start on Monday night. We have a great game coming up. I'm excited. Oh gosh, I see all of you. My landscape is not vertical. Oh Lord. Well, we'll try again next time. Thanks for letting me know, Marche. Thank you for being here. And I just want to take a moment to say hello. Buccaneers coming with the leather belt. Crud Knuckles. So you still salty because we beat you. Don't worry. I want you to come back. You did, and I appreciate you. You did come back. You gave me your word. You said you were going to come back, win or lose, against the Commanders when the Ravens beat you all. And so, Darius, I see you. Rogue Pod. Oh, shucks. Saturday nights are made for 30-minute streams. I appreciate you, Rogue Pod. Deshaun, Frank Samuels, good evening, all of you. Yeah, we're about to be 22 and we're about to be 23-1. But that's all right. What is your Crud Knuckles? Let me ask you this. Now, you're an NFC team. Wouldn't you want to cheer for the AFC team because you don't want your NFC team to kind of like outplay you, right? I would think, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You see what jersey I'm wearing tonight. Y'all see this. Odafe Owe. But let's get into this show. Let's get into it. I want you to come back, Craig Knuckles. I do. I want to see you after Monday night. I don't think I'm going to stream Monday night because the game is late. And, I goes to bed kind of early. But if I don't stream Monday night after the game, which I probably will not, it'll be Tuesday night for sure. So Craig Knuckles, come back. I want you to come back. And I want to talk about how wrong you were. See, like growing up, there was a phrase, you loud and wrong. See, Craig Knuckles, I know you're not loud because I can't hear you, but I just hear the loudness in your voice coming through, resonating as you chat and try and say mean things about my team. But we're going to win this game. Listen, primetime record for Lamar Jackson. This is another big thing. I think as a starter in primetime games, he's like 16-4, maybe. Let me know in the chat if I got the stat wrong. I haven't had time to look in stats, and this is not what this show is about. This is just grab your beverage of choice and enjoy. Just enjoy tonight's show. That's what this is about. But I think he's 16-4 as a starter in primetime games. When you have a starter who is that well accomplished going into these matchups, I feel more comfortable, I don't let my guard down because this is a team effort. And we've seen as Ravens fans so many times where the Baltimore Ravens are able to put up a lead and then late in the game, we just kind of go rogue. No offense, Hendo, not rogue like the rogue pot. Thanks for being here, Hendo. But they just go off the wall, off the radar, and totally botch away the lead. We're not doing that, though. We're not doing that this game. We cannot, especially against the Buccaneers. I mean, Baker Mayfield, so many people wanted to count him out after the Browns got rid of him. And oh, yeah, so just FYI, let me take 2.5. So I'm using the Osmo Pocket 3, and it has gimbal tracking. So if I move this way, you can see me. Hey there. If I move over here, you can see me too. Hey. So I thought that was really fun. But one thing I can say about our team is when you have a Lamar Jackson at the helm, it's important that the rest of the team step up and play their style of football, which needs to be Baltimore Ravens football, because the Buccaneers, it's no, they're 4-2 as well. This is a very good NFC team. So it's not something that we need to go into thinking, oh, this is an easy win for us. It's no brainer. So many people wanted to, count Baker Mayfield out. And I said, no, I'm not going to count him out. I'm not. I still think he is a great quarterback. I do. Now, he's no Lamar Jackson. And even his coach said something I caught this past week. I think his coach asked him, what do you think about Baker Mayfield in terms of being a mobile quarterback? He's like, he's mobile enough to get the job done. What he was saying was, my guy ain't no Lamar Jackson, but he's able to do what he can do to get us to win games, to get us to be able to score points. So that's what he was saying. But when you have Lamar Jackson, it's important that we keep in mind that anything is possible, but we need to play complementary football. And it starts with our players being healthy, our players going in and making sure that we're ready to go and that we're coached up. But let's just talk a little bit about some of the players on the Bucs team that give me a little bit of, concern. Ones that we need to keep our eyes on. It's not a whole lot of them, but there are a couple. So Villa, I probably totally messed up his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. Defensive tackle for the Buccaneers. He's one to watch. I don't know if he's going to be a game time decision. I know he's been missing a couple of practices, but share your thoughts with me in the comments. How do you think it will be, how will our ability to run the ball be impacted if Villa is in the game? He is, you have to give credit where credit is due. That doesn't mean we don't love our team, but we have to be realistic. He is one who, hi there, Heather. Yes. Oh, Dafe, we're going to talk about him in a moment. Yes. Good to see you. Glad you're here. But he is one that can really, I think, have the ability to slow us down. I'm not going to say stop us altogether. I'm not, because to stop the Ravens' run game, it's going to take a Herculean effort. You're going to need more than Villa to do that because of who we have, in terms of our running backs, and also Lamar Jackson too. But him being in the game to me is going to really show what we have as, in terms of our run game. That really is going to show it because he's just that good. I think Villa is very, very good. But if he does not play, if he's ruled out, and I don't know, he might have been ruled out today, or he might be ruled out tomorrow, or, right before the game. But if he's ruled out, let me know. Do you think that our ability to run the ball is going to be impacted if Villa plays or if he doesn't? I think it will. I think if he's in the game, we've got a lot to, we've got a tall order to overcome. If he's not in the game, hey, kudos to the Ravens for being able to go out there and just kind of run the ball at will. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But wanted to just touch on a few players who I think really need to have a big game, really need to have a huge game, not just because we're playing the Tampa Bay Bucs, but because 6 games into the season, I haven't seen a whole lot. I made a video maybe 3 weeks ago, after maybe the third game or something like that. And I said, here are a couple of players that I think need to really step up. I probably need to amend that and do an updated version now that we're a little bit more than a quarter way through the season. Couple of players that really need to have an impactful game. And I'm going to start with my guy. I'm going to start with Odafe. He came out week 1, week 2, and it was really good. I thought, wow, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for Odafe. He's leading our team in sacks, but then he got real quiet. Games 3, 4, 5, he got real quiet. And then we saw Kyle Van Noy just really come in and show him, listen, this is how you get it done. This is how you close the deal. I want Odafe Owe to have a monster game. Just primarily because we need him. We need to get some pressure, obviously, on Baker Mayfield. That's one way that we're going to be able to slow down, the passing game with Mike Evans. I know he's listed as questionable too. Haven't kept my ear to the street, so to speak, because I've been traveling, but I don't know if he's a game time decision or if he's been ruled out. But if Mike Evans is playing, how do we slow him down? How do we slow Mike Evans and Chris Godwin down? The way we do it is by getting that interior pressure through our interior D linemen and getting our edge rushers to get to Baker Mayfield. Because we all know, I was gonna say we both know, and there's several of you in here, it's a lot of, I guess it's a common theme, right? That our secondary is struggling. And I'm being gracious in my choice of words here because I probably could say something else, but we're just gonna go with struggling. All right, so we know our secondary hasn't been the greatest. So how do we help them out until they figure it out? The way we help them out while they're struggling is that interior D lineman, our interior D line, our edge rushers, they're going to be relied upon heavily to limit Baker Mayfield's ability to connect with his receivers. Because we know if Baker Mayfield has time to throw, if he has all day in the pocket, we know if we don't make him uncomfortable, he's going to find Mike Evans, who is a phenomenal wide receiver. He's going to find Chris Godwin. And then what? Then we rely on our secondary that has just really, again, I'm going to go with struggled against elite wide receivers. We don't want to find ourselves in that situation. So to me, the formula for us to succeed or to win this game on defense specifically, we've got to have our, front seven, our interior D linemen, our edge rushers, they've got to be ready to go. And by ready to go, I mean not just applying pressure. Pressures are great. Having that stat on your sheet, your stat sheet, they applied pressure, they got this many pressures, that's wonderful. But can you make it all the way, close the deal, and put Baker Mayfield on the ground? So it all starts here, 99. That's what I think. I'm going to look at some comments. I see a couple of you coming in. Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson, though. I hope that was meant in a good way, Crud Knuckles, because if not, I can debate you. Probably not tonight because I'm tired. I just traveled in from out of town today, so I might not be my normal talkative self. Be the change you wish to see. Yolanda is all the way. You know it. But one thing about me, be the change you wish to see. I'm going to keep it real. I love Odafe. You know I do. But he needs to perform. Why are we allowing Kyle Van Noy, who is 30 something, I don't know the man's age, I know he's in his 30s, early 30s. Why are we allowing Kyle Van Noy to lead our team in sacks when we have a younger player in Odafe Owe who is healthy? But not only him, it starts with Odafe, but it also extends to David Ojabo. Where has Ojabo been? How many sacks does David Ojabo have? I didn't look at the stats before tonight, so I don't know if he has 1, 2, 2.5. I know it's a low number. Somebody in the chat, if you know, drop it in the chat. Let me know. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, we need to have production. When they are on the field, this is time for a David Ojabo. We haven't seen much of him prior to this season because he's been injured. Now that he's healthy, where are you, David? We're looking for you. We need to see it. Thank you, Hendo from the Rogue Pod. He said one. One. That's how many sacks he has. So we need more. We need better from him. Trash bag, fashion lover. No, I don't wear trash bags or plastic bags as an outfit, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Agro Valley Farm, good evening. Thanks for being here. After being paid a lot of money, some of the defensive players have fallen off in production. They certainly have. That's a good point. That is a very good point. For those who've gotten paid, we need to see it. Let me know your thoughts. Justin Matabike, 6 games in, we've paid him this last offseason a lot of money. How do you think he's performing, given the amount of money that we just paid him? Let me know. Crud Knuckles says, Commanders can help trade us Zay Flowers for Emmanuel Forrest. Emmanuel Forrest? Are you kidding? That's like asking me to trade you, like, you know, a 5-course meal for a bag of French fries. No, sit down with that. If you want, you can't have Zay Flowers. That's first of all. And we don't want or need Emmanuel Forbes, who's like, you know, weighs all of what, 125, 30 pounds. No, thank you. I'm going to pass. That's a strong no on that. But no, you can't have Zay Flowers. But you can have, I'm willing to trade Rashad Bateman. You can have Nelson Aguilar. And that's about it. That's about it. I still like Bateman. I think he's a fantastic wide receiver. I think he's very good. But the consistency is what gets me. It's just the consistency. So, but, you know, we're not trading him. I don't think he's a trade candidate. But one person I do think could possibly be a trade candidate before November 5th. The trade deadline is less than 3 weeks away, or just a little over 3 weeks away. I really think Mark Andrews could be a trade candidate. I do. And so if it comes to November 5th and Mark Andrews' name is on that trade list, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's bring back Beckham. Hey, the Hawk TV, good evening. Thanks for joining. Look, I wouldn't mind bringing Odell back, but my only concern with that is that he's been injured. I don't think he's played, or maybe he's played 1 game for the Dolphins this season, but I'm pretty sure, I'd have to go back and fact check, but I'm pretty sure his contribution has been minimal. And when we had him last year, his contribution was minimal in terms of what we paid him. Was it 15 million, 16 million? And he had a handful of catches. One thing I'll say about Odell, he is your seasoned veteran who, in the big crucial moments, he showed up for us. He was able to make that big catch, you know, whether it was a 3rd and long, he was able to get the first down, kept the chains moving, and we were still in the game. We were still in it. But then after that, he goes sit on the bench, and that would just kind of be, that'd be it. Him or DeAndre Hopkins. I've been wanting DeAndre Hopkins for a while. Yeah. Rogue Pod says OBJ hasn't even practiced. I didn't know if last week he came by, made a little cameo at practice. I don't know if he played a game, but if he hasn't even practiced, then just no, that's not going to work. We need to leave Eddie Jackson in Tampa. Oh, Heather, she said we just need to leave him there. Just don't even, and Marcus Williams, I don't know what's going on. Great segue. Excellent. Hey, Davon, glad to see you. You know it. You know it. That's right, Odafe Owe. But I started by saying, just in case you missed it, I led off by saying, although I have on my guy's jersey, that does not mean that he needs to be a slacker in this upcoming game. We're looking for a big game from him. Let's talk about Heather's comment, because she's spot on here. Eddie Jackson, I agree. We can leave him there. We brought him in, this veteran, we signed him, and there was buzz around like, oh yes, we're shoring up the secondary, we're making it better, we're bringing in reinforcement. Really hasn't panned out that well for him so far. I don't know what's going on with Marcus Williams. Is he still hurt? He's been trashed. I don't think he's hurt. And by all accounts, he is fully healthy. I just think it's a situation where it's either A, we're not playing him to his skill set, or B, he's not just, he, like Heather said, he's trash. And I don't like to say that, but I don't know of another way to describe it. What is going on with Marcus Williams? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think it's the improper use by Zach Orr? Because even with his torn pec last year, when he was out there with one shoulder, he was still impactful. He was still impactful under Mike Macdonald's system. Fast forward now, he's supposed to be fully healthy, and I haven't heard any reason that he has a lingering or nagging injury, and we just don't see the level of production that we need to see from him. What's going on? I don't know. So let me know in the chat, what do you think it is? A, we're not using him properly, or B, he's just not it, or C, combination of both. But that's kind of where I want to leave it. Our secondary is obviously our Achilles heel. And if we do not figure out a way to stop and or slow down these elite wide receivers, week after week, they're just scoring on us. Our last game, I think they had almost over 500 yards, almost 600 yards, if I'm not mistaken, against the Commanders. We cannot afford to allow that to continue. What happened to the Ravens being this dominant, hard-nosed, bully Baltimore defense? The one that you think twice when you have to go against them. That's what I'm looking for. I haven't seen it. We look a little too timid for my liking. Roquan Smith, let me add his name there. Although he did have a better game against the Commanders in terms of the prior games and then compare his stats to the game against the Commanders, I still expect more. How much is he getting paid? $100 million, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's getting paid a lot of money. I want to see much, much more from Roquan Smith. Last year, Roquan Smith showed me the epitome of what it meant to be a Baltimore bully. He showed me, he encompassed that. When he stepped on the field and he gave his pregame speeches and his pep talks, I believed him because I knew his play was going to match with his words. Right now, I don't know. Mike Macdonald was the whisperer. He was. I know, Davon, I said trash, and you know I don't like to say it. Let's give it this game. Let's give it the Bucs, and then before I can really, truly stand by and support the trash word. I don't like that word. I don't like calling them trash. And I'll say I'm not calling the player themselves trash. I'm calling their level of contribution. Doesn't that sound fancy? I'm going to call their level of contribution to the game, to this team, I'll call that trash. Agro Valley Farm says Mark Andrews can't be traded. He has been set back by that early season injury. I can agree and I can disagree. I'll agree in part. While there might be a bit of a setback, the problem is if we are serious about being a Super Bowl contender this year, not next year, not the year after that, but if we're serious about it this year, we're going to need all hands on deck now. And if someone has a setback due to injury and they're no longer able to contribute like they once did, or there's a drop off in their talent, that's problematic if our mindset is Ravens are going to go get the third ring this year. That's the only, so I wrestle with that. Do I want to keep Mark Andrews? Personally, sure, I would like to. For all the reasons that I've stated before, he's been like Lamar Jackson's security blanket prior to his injury last season. Then when he came back in the AFC Championship, well, we all know what happened in that. That was just a flop, but moving him right along like a herd of turtles. It was one of those things where the expectation was really high. He had an opportunity to rehab all off season, and then boom, he gets into a very bad car accident. And now there's this possibility of a setback. Or, and if there is a setback, then How does that help us to chase the third ring this year? And speaking of Ravens' third ring, I see you in here. Will Dean Pease be any help? Great question. I haven't done a whole lot of research on him to find out what type of value can he bring. And that's going to be something I'll look into this week. As I mentioned, I've been out of town this last week on Creators Camp, eCam Creators Camp. I got a chance to meet K-Walk Comedy, who is in here. Hi there. So much fun this week. But I'll do some research to kind of figure out what Dean Pease specializes in. Because for me, where do I think the biggest need is in terms of help for Zach Orr? It is figuring out how to get our secondary up to snuff, because right now we're just not there. I think in terms of our interior D line and to some degree our edge rushers, they're doing an okay job. Again, the edge rushers need to step up and have a big game, but otherwise I think they're okay. Linebackers, Malik Harrison. I know he's injured. I think is he on injured reserve? Let me know. Or has he just been ruled out for this game? But he was one who I saw and I said, what is he doing? Why are we dropping him back into coverage? So some of this could be Zach Orr not really knowing how to utilize our players and put them in the best position for them to succeed. But some of it also could be they're just not playing well. Some of these players are just not playing well. And it like Heather said, Eddie Jackson, Marcus Williams. But for me, what I'd like to know, and I'm going to study and research, would be if Dean Pease has a specialty or can specialize in the secondary. Now, if his specialty is the front seven or the linebackers, to answer your question, I don't know that he'll be that much help. But let's hope that as a defensive guru or defensive mind that he is, and as many, many years as he's had coaching and doing other types of work with players, that he'll be able to give us some type of boost. We'll see this upcoming game. Yes, Davon, semantics. I love it. That's right. Agro Valley Farm says, I think that Zach Orr being new to the job is part of the reason for the way the secondary is playing. I agree. In part. I mentioned this before, Agro Valley Farm. When we had Mike McDonald, when he took over from Wink, completely different system, totally different scheme, totally different way that we were going to utilize our players. Now, fast forward to Mike McDonald. He had a lot of bumps in the road. When he took over, he had to kind of forge, right? He had to try and make a way, figure everything out on the fly, on his own. Hence the Miami Dolphins game a couple of years back, where we completely just couldn't do anything and we botched that fourth quarter lead. We were up 20 points, 21 points, and we fell way short. After that, what did we see? We saw Mike McDonald continue to steadily climb in terms of his understanding and his ability to coach this team. Now we move to Zach Orr. And although we lost a lot of key defensive coordinators and members of the coaching staff, with the exception of 4 players on defense, our defense remains primarily intact. So I give you a little bit of room there, Agro Valley Farm, to say, yes, there is a certain amount of on-the-job learning that has to take place, but we cannot ignore the fact that with the same players, for the most part, we figured out how to use them best. And that was all credited to Mike McDonald. So to me, Zach Orr is not starting from a blank sheet of paper. He's not starting from a clean slate. What he should have done, or what he needed to do going into the season, pick up that playbook that was already successful, because we had one of the best defenses in the league last year. He needed to pick up that playbook and figure out how he could add his own stamp, because he needs to make it his own, but not to lose what was working for us. So for that, I say yes and no to your point, but that's kind of my thing. James Parker, not sure that I've seen you before. Thank you for being here. I'm sure Dean is going to help that secondary, especially Williams. I hope so. And do me a favor, James Parker, if you can. I will live stream after the game. Not on Monday night because that's late. It'll probably be Tuesday night. Probably Tuesday around 7 o'clock, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Come back and let me know if you saw an improvement in our secondary and do you think it's attributed to the addition of Dean Pease. Agent E, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Joey, yes, Ravens all day, every day. Ladies, gentlemen, I'm so excited for the game on Monday night. At least we get to relax tomorrow while all the other teams stress out like we normally do on Sundays. But we have a very fun matchup, exciting one. Both teams are 4-2. Before we go, let me know who wins the game on Monday night. Drop your score predictions in the chat. Excuse me. Drop your score predictions in the chat. And if you're watching this on replay, welcome. Thank you so much. Leave a comment. Let me know who you think is going to win the game on Monday night. Me, I will start with, I am going to say Ravens are on the road, traveling to Tampa Bay. Pretty healthy team. We're going into the game pretty healthy. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens are winning for the reasons that I said at the beginning of the stream. If you missed it, go back, watch it on replay. But I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. And before I give you my score prediction, if you'll do me a favor, if you've enjoyed tonight's show, give me a great big thumbs up. Take 2.5, hit the thumbs up. If you're new, welcome. Please subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers and we are almost there. You can help me get there. My score prediction. I'm going to say Ravens win 31-24. 31-24. The Ravens are taking this one. Equip Institute, Florence, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, thank you, Heather. I just need Heather to co-host with me because she's just so good. I did not write that down on my little list. See, I didn't even have time to prepare. I had a short list, but thank you, Heather. So many dropped interceptions. That was something that I had on my brain that I wanted to mention, and I did not put it on my list. And of course, I just forgot. But Heather is so, again, she's spot on. Dropped interceptions. That's what we cannot afford to have. When will we see our secondary create more turnovers? I know Marlon Humphrey has an interception, and there might be one or two others who have interceptions this season. But when are we going to see more of that? That's what I want to know. And if Dean Pease can help us in that category, that would be great. That would be wonderful. Because our secondary, we have too many key players who can make interceptions. But as Heather mentioned, Nate Wiggins, I think 2 or 3 games ago, dropped 3 interceptions, had 2 or 3 of them that just right in his breadbasket and just, nope, no thank you. I'll pass. We can't have that. So yes, we need a guy in the secondary who is a true ball hawk. I thought that person was Marcus Williams. Talking to former Saints fans when we signed Marcus Williams, it was, oh, he is see ball, get ball. He is going to be that ball hawk safety that you need on your team. And I said, okay, yes, let's go. But yeah, I agree with you, Heather. Denard Wilson played a major part in that with helping our secondary. Look at the Titans. Their defense looks really good with him as the defensive coordinator. Ravens. Okay, James Parker tells me that the Ravens are winning this one 38-17. Ooh, I like how you think, James. Joey is taking the Ravens 38-20. I love it. Lady Laura Baltimore, good evening. Thank you for being here. 34-28. I can go for it. 42-21 Ravens. King Trent TV, good to see you. 42-28. I like this. I like it. I think we're all believing that our Ravens, I don't know. I like that King Trent TV, but do you think that if Mike Evans, Chris Godwin are playing and both of them are healthy, I know Mike Evans was questionable, but if Mike Evans plays and he's healthy, do you think that we're going to limit them to 28 points? I said 24, and that's assuming that we see a huge step up from our defense. namely our secondary, but to a lesser degree, our linebackers. Mullet will fire us up. Okay, our Darius dropped an easy one. Our Darius too. So we need to see more turnovers. Yeah, we need to see more turnovers. James Parker says, I think we need to see Jalen Armour Davis in the secondary. He was killing it in preseason, and I think he might be that ball hawk. Could be. But the problem with Jalen Armour Davis, he's just never been healthy consistently. So it's hard to kind of picture him as being everything that we need him to be if there's always been questions about his, surrounding him being a healthy player. So that would be my only thing. But yeah, we do. We need to have a ball hawk. We need to have someone in that secondary who goes after the ball, sees it, gets it. We don't have dropped interceptions. We are creating the turnovers. Our front seven and our D-line, they are getting pressure. They're also able to generate not only pressure, but they're able to sack Baker Mayfield. That's the key. Roquan, we need to have a good game from you. I already told you, my guy Odafe Owe, he needs to come out of this game with at least 1.5 sacks. You heard it here first. 2 sacks would be lovely from Odafe, but pressure is just not going to be enough because he has such a great offensive weapon in Mike Evans as well as Chris Godwin. Yes, ladies, gentlemen, that is it for tonight. I thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for coming by. I will see you very, very soon after Monday's game. Hopefully it will be a victory for us and we can keep on the trajectory of hashtag Chase the Lombardi this year. I hope you all are well and I will see you soon. Okay, remember, always, always go Ravens. God bless.